Good morning. Another edition of Coffee with Curare coming at you from Bloomington, Indiana here on a fine Wednesday morning. Today's a especially fine day because we are playing North Carolina at home tonight. The IU Hoosiers host the 5th-ranked North Carolina Tar Heels. I think they're 5th-ranked, but it's bound to be a barn burner, and I'm looking forward to it. You got any plans, Dave?
Just going to watch the game.
I'm going to watch the game at home, too. I think it's a late one, so 9 p.m. start time puts me in bed, hopefully by a little after halftime. Hopefully it's exciting. My goal today, I pulled up 5 primary care jobs from just the last week that we've received since our last edition of Coffee with Curare last Tuesday. I picked what I thought would be a good package of 5 random jobs across the country, basically to show how open the job markets are right now and how many different opportunities are coming into Curare physician recruiting right now on pretty much a weekly basis. A small sampling of what I found when I looked at some of the new jobs this past week. The ones that caught my eye, Zephyr Hills, Florida. I'm sorry, I pronounced that one wrong sometimes. Zephyr Hills is a pretty neat little community right in between Tampa and Orlando, Florida. You got about an hour to get to Orlando, hour and 15 minutes to get to Orlando, only about 45 minutes to get to Tampa. So if you fly a lot, you'd fly out of the Tampa International Airport. They've got an outpatient-only job for primary care physicians, internal medicine, or family physicians. Outpatient-only, competitive salary based upon your experience. Production incentives, they're offering 20 days off per year right out the door. And just a great location for families and for folks that are looking for good schools and recreational opportunities. In between Orlando and Tampa is just dotted with hundreds of small lakes, so the water recreational opportunities are just outstanding. Switching a little bit further north, Butler, Pennsylvania. Butler, Pennsylvania is a town of 14,000 people. It's about an hour north, directly north of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Butler is a blue-collar community, and they're offering a position that you could actually still follow your patients into the hospital if you so desire. You could take a traditional route, a call of 1 in 4, or you could choose a telephone consult only of 1 in 4. A base salary up there in Butler is listed at $230K, which is pretty high for the region, and there might even be some room for improvement based upon what you're bringing to the table and what kind of experience you have. Butler is one of those areas. It's got rolling topography, a lot of outdoor recreational activities. It's surrounded by several state parks. It's an area that brings in some tourism during the fall in particular. A lot of leafers come to the area to look at the ridges and the nice leaves changing colors. Going deep south, new opportunity in Longview, Texas. Longview, Texas is a very remote, pretty big micropolitan area of 80,000 folks. It sits 3 hours east of Dallas, Texas, in far eastern Texas, about 45 minutes west of Shreveport, Louisiana. You could be in New Orleans in about 5.5 hours, but it is a standalone community with its own personality. It's a community health systems opportunity. Community Health Systems is a multi-billion-dollar hospital corporation that owns over 100 hospitals across the nation. With that, they're able to offer very competitive packages to physicians, in particular physicians coming out of training with massive student loan debt. They have very aggressive student loan packages to help get you through, get those loans paid off, and get you to start building some wealth. They will consider H-1B candidates as well in Longview, Texas. My next new opportunity is Richfield, Minnesota. Richfield, Minnesota is a suburban area of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Richfield is a very affluent area. Cost of living is very reasonable, but yet their median income is much higher than the rest of the state, and the homes are very nice, well taken care of, a very prideful community. The opportunity itself is very unique. It's a 3-day work week, yet it is considered full-time. You can max your earning potential out at about $275 to $280K with that 3-day work week, working on an outpatient-only basis. So this is possibly one of the better lifestyle opportunities in the Midwest. If you could stand the colder winters, this could be an outstanding position for somebody that wants to work a little less, but yet make a full-time income. One unique feature about Richfield that I just found out about the other day is they have one of the best authentic Mexican restaurants in the Midwest. It's called Andala Curare, and it was featured on the Diners, Drives, and Dive-Ins, or whatever that show is called, but it looks great. Take a look at that one. And finally, my last new job in the last week for primary care, we probably got about 25 new jobs in the last week nationwide, so we're doing pretty good with new opportunities. This one's in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Outpatient only, primary care, internal medicine, or family practice. Colorado Springs is a pretty large growing metropolitan area. It's got 415,000 people in it right now, and it sits an hour directly south of Denver, Colorado, right on I-25. Super easy access to the mountains, super easy access back up into the city. You've got Breckenridge, Colorado, and the Summit County Ski Resort's only 2 hours away. Colorado Springs itself has Gardens of Gods for rock climbing and hiking, and just a hop, skip, and a jump over the next ridge is 11 Mile Canyon, which is a major attraction for outdoor enthusiasts. Those are the 5 jobs I brought to the table this week, and now I'm going to hand it over to Dave for what he's got.
I actually placed a surgeon in Longview, Texas, probably 6 years ago.
Oh, is he still there?
He is still there.
Excellent.
As far as I checked in with him, not real recently, but I checked in with him, and he's doing really, really well there. His family's happy. The school system is very good, and just a good community to be a successful doctor.
Excellent.
You know, there's enough business for everybody to be happy.
It's a little remote for me.
Don't have to compete with all the Dallas docs.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's the nice thing about it. It definitely isn't saturated.
So, I wanted to bring up a new, not really a new client, but a client of ours in western Kentucky, just across the river from Evansville, Indiana. A town is called Henderson, and this is the Methodist Hospital over there. It's a 150-bed facility. They have very top-notch equipment, facilities. They've got a robot there. Placed a general surgeon there. He just started this month, and so far it looks like he's doing really, really well. But they've got big plans, and they have a lot of needs over there, and they are willing to bring in good physicians and make good offers to physicians. We're looking for an infectious disease specialist. We don't get a lot of those opportunities, but this is going to be a hospital-based infectious disease position. Working closely with the surgical department, the oncology department, the primary care, the hospitalists. They have their own hospitalist program. But they need this infectious disease person to kind of head that arena up. Also looking for 2 OBGYN physicians. And what I like about this is they will really hire any good qualified OBGYN.
Good.
Not putting some of the restrictions that you might see from other places. They're also looking for pediatrics and a number of primary care physicians. Their offers typically come in around the median income, maybe a little bit higher. They've got production incentives on a WRVU basis, great benefits package, health insurance, the malpractice is paid, they got a retirement plan, paid time off, and so all the bells and whistles that you'd really be looking for. The location, it's right across the river from Evansville, Indiana. Evansville is about 275,000 people. There are lots of restaurants, there are malls, there's 2 universities in town, and it's just right across the bridge, and you're right in town. Henderson is a suburban area, and it is, very much resembles a suburban community. You're going to have all your typical chain restaurants, you're going to have good school system, you're going to have easy access on the interstate to get to, you can get down to Nashville in 2 hours. So there's really a lot going for this community. Even though it's easy to get across, the river does stop people from going to Evansville for their medical care. So if you're over here, for the specialties that we're looking at, the more generalist specialties, people are not looking to go into Indiana for their care. They want to stay in Kentucky. So you've got a good patient base that you can stick with here and really get busy quick and have a good successful practice. So it's, keeping in mind with, which has been my theme, which has been these more mid-sized, larger suburban and urban areas in the Midwest. And I think this one keeps right in line with that as a really shining example of what's out there to be had.
And the nice thing about Henderson, too, that's changed recently, you say 2 hours to Nashville. I think it might be even a little closer than that now. The construction between Henderson and Nashville, Tennessee, has kind of made the trip a little shorter. But then coming north, they're completing I-69 right now from Evansville all the way up through to Detroit. And you could get up to Indianapolis and even Chicago from Henderson. You could get to Chicago in probably 4.5, 5 hours from Henderson, Kentucky. So it's not as isolated as you might think when you first think of a place like Henderson, Kentucky.
You can also hit I-74 and, or 64, I'm sorry, and you can be in St. Louis in 2 hours.
Yep, 2 hours away, yeah, so it's a really good location.
Good spot to be. So pediatrics, OBGYN, infectious disease, primary care. If you're looking, good suburban community, give us a call about those.
Excellent. Well, thanks a lot, Dave. Thanks for tuning in today, and we'll see you next week with Coffee with Curare. And go IU Hoosiers tonight.
Go Hoosiers.